Hey everyone, it's Nick. I went by Sushi back when I was a MapleStory player, content creator, and streamer. I've since not been a member of the game or the streaming community for quite a long time, but I do like to check in every now and again on my friends and just the community in general. And in doing so, I obviously stumbled upon Zhong's videos and more recently the podcast of all of the MapleStory creators talking about the Zero by Divide situation as a whole and their takes on it. Also, I've had the displeasure of reading the comment sections of all these videos, and needless to say, they have given me the want and the need to put out my take on this because I feel like there's a lot of really stupid reactions and points being made in this discussion, and so I just kind of wanted to put my view out there and more deeply elaborate on the things that I feel are a problem in this entire situation. In no way am I trying to defend Zong's actions. Am I trying to say it's okay? Am I trying to say everybody should hack and bot and everything's cool? I'm not trying to say that. I'm just trying to, give my take on the entire situation. So let's start with what the Zero by Divide situation is. Zong is a prominent streamer and player of MapleStory. He was caught by an alliance member using macros on an alt account to illegitimately level up a Kana. Once this happened, the player confronted him, he admitted his guilt, and he deleted the Kana. He made a new account afterwards to level a Kana legitimately to use for helping his main get Kishin. After a few weeks, he decided to upload a video admitting to having macroed on the first Kana, having gotten caught, and his actions following getting caught. A week later, after posting this video and it blowing up, all four of his active accounts were given a 1-month ban and are assumed to be permanently removed from the rankings. The four accounts are number one, a Kana alt, the one that he had been macroing on, had been caught on, and then later deleted. Number two, the new Kana that he was leveling legitimately. Number three, his main account. And number four, a brand new account that he had just made 2 days prior for a new main that he had been talking about. Now, this wasn't made too clear in any of the videos, so again, I just wanted to start with clarifying what exactly had happened in the situation. Now, I'm going to start off by giving my opinion on the bans themselves, and then I will go through the different topics that the podcast talked about and why I feel that my point of view on this, works through all of the topics discussed and my logical chain through everything that was talked about. First of all, I do believe that the action against his Kana that was macroed that account was completely justified. I don't know how I feel about it outside of it just being justified. I'm not too big of a fan of community outrage bans in general. We saw where Rin and that whole situation got us. There are still many people in this community who unfortunately believe that Rin was hacking when it is so easy to fake that video, and he did an excellent job defending himself in his videos. So I think that, the community outrage ban is kind of where I'm wavering, but that account did very much deserve to be banned. The duration on it, I don't really care. It deserved to be taken off the rankings and it deserved to be actioned. Um, in terms of the other three accounts that were actioned, I do believe that, as they say, Nexon has the right to action every single one of his accounts when he is caught doing something wrong on any of them, right? They have the right to do that. They say that they will do that in some cases. And I know many people that have been chain banned before. Usually it's for exploiting or duping or something a little bit more serious than this. But, they have every right to do it. Do I think that the chain ban was justified, though? I think that's where my opinion deviates from a lot of the other people that are voicing their opinions, and specifically the people that were on the podcast. I do not personally believe that the ban on his main, the removal from the rankings of his main, was justified. I think that the only plausible way to look at his main account being breaking the TOS or in any way like illegitimized, right, would be benefiting off of an account that had been botted. When the reality of the situation is what he gained from botting on the account, though that was wrong and was against the rules and deserved to be actioned, the gain to his main account was only having a Kishin mule. And this is something that could have been achieved through asking a fan from the stream to Kishin him, from having a friend Kishin him, from borrowing a friend's account, from buying an account if you want to go a little bit more into the gray area. But this goal could have been accomplished many different ways, and so he wasn't benefiting too hard off of this account being botted, is more so my reasoning for not believing that the chain ban was really necessary. If he had been exploiting on the Kana and that directly led to impact the way that his account was leveling or trading, or the gear it had or the money it had, I feel like I would feel a little bit more different about this. But I think even if he had been being leached by someone that was macroing, I would have felt a little bit more justification for the chain ban. But because his main was so distant in the benefits from the reward of botting this Kana account, I don't really feel like his main's level or rank was illegitimized in really any way. If anything in this situation was illegitimized, it was just Zero's public image. And so I think that really the punishment here should have been action on the Kana that he was macroing on and the damage done to his reputation. I don't necessarily think that any more than that is deserved in this situation. And I know a lot of people are going to say, wow, like streamer privilege, he only got a month, he should have gotten permed. But the reality of that situation is that his streamer privilege was getting banned. Without the position in the community that he has, or the community uproar about it, he would have never been actioned in the first place. He was not caught through the system. This isn't to say that what he did was right or to justify his actions right. All I'm saying is that quite literally his streamer privilege was the ban. So saying that he deserved more or deserved less is definitely a discussion you can have, but I think the people relying on the fact that he's a prominent member of the community, um, it's only the opposite of what they believe. He only got punished harsher or at all because of his streamer privilege. So that's basically my take on the situation and my opinions about the consequences of the entire thing. So now I'm going to go through and justify my opinion through the different talking points that they talked through in the podcast. The first topic that I want to get into is that he is breaking the TOS, and so he deserves action on any of his active accounts, right? Um, I think that claiming justification for something by saying it's against the TOS is equally as stupid as claiming justification for not getting banned by saying that everybody breaks the TOS, right? I believe that these blanket statements and generalizations don't really help us arrive at a conclusion on what necessarily is accepted and should be accepted, shouldn't be accepted, and that kind of stuff. So, more specifically, I want to talk again about the way that he would have been breaking the TOS, right? So, obviously, the account that he was macroing on was breaking the TOS by macroing and illegitimately leveling up, right? So, that's our first point, and I agree that that account should have been actioned. Secondly, the chain ban, as a result of him benefiting off of this account that had macroed, I don't necessarily agree with that being enough of justification by itself, like I said earlier. Uh, and the reasonings behind that is definitely that Kishin is something that isn't too hard to come by in the first place, right? He wasn't getting some extraordinary leg up on the competition. He just was becoming self-sufficient, right? And he did it in the wrong way. In terms of benefiting off of hackers and botting and that kind of thing in general, the reality of the situation is that everybody does that, consciously or not. And there's a lot of the streamers and content creators in this circle that knowingly have benefited off of it in some way or another. And every player has unknowingly done it. And so I feel like this is really the weakest leg to stand on for justifying something, specifically because of how ingrained duped items, farmed and botted items are in the market and the value to players and what's expected in gear because of it. I feel like a lot of these things have been influenced by hackers and botters for such a long period of time that nobody really knows what it's like to not benefit off of hackers and botting inside of one of the regular servers. The argument can be made that in reboot, those people don't hold those sins, but the reality is that most of the reboot players came from other servers. Nobody besides a brand new player who is upholding to this insane high moral standard is really innocent of any of this. I believe that most of the community would be a hypocrite trying to defend the chain ban using this justification. And this insanely high moral standard that I'm talking about in this situation would be, the people that refuse to abuse bugs, refuse to abuse events that are too good, people that wait to see if Nexon intended something, because, as we can see from the podcast, there's at least one person who, for some reason, follows these moral standards, right? And that's it's his right, but in reality 99% of the player base isn't doing all of those things. So really in the end what I'm saying is that just breaking the TOS in in my opinion in one of the most minor ways, um, in terms of his main account benefiting, right, is really really stupid. I think that the only justification for the chain ban is just that they are allowed to chain ban you. Like it's really it. He did something wrong, and so they actioned all of his shit. And in my opinion, that was too much. Another point that they talk about is, in one way or another, basically, does he deserve to be on the rankings post admitting to macroing on another account? And again, my opinion on this is pretty clear that I believe he does still deserve to be on the rankings on the accounts that he did not macro on. Because the only reasons, in my opinion, you should be off of the rankings is if you hacked or macroed to get that ranking. And he did not macro on his main account. He did not hack on his main account. He did not bot on his main account. And therefore, everything that he achieved on his main account is legitimate in my eyes. And my personal hope is that when this month ban is over, his main account will be reinstated to the rankings. That is my overall hope from all of this, is that, if we're going to put a community member on blast for something that he openly admits, we need to keep it in line. There's no reason to throw the book at somebody to make the community happy when the reality is that this person is going to continue to be a part of the community and they're going to continue to grow as a person and, earn back the trust of their community and have their community learn their lesson with them, right? I think that the month break from MapleStory might be good for Zhong, but when he comes back, I don't think that all of his past accomplishments and future accomplishments should be laid to waste because of it. And this isn't to say that if you're a member of his fan base or, someone in the community that you can't be critical of Zhong or that you can't like give him shit for it, because of course you can do those things and that's what he should be receiving for it. But there's definitely a line that is being crossed in the comments and in the Twitch chat where being human garbage to another person isn't really productive to either of you. It just kind of makes you look like subhuman pieces of trash. So I would say to the people that want to be critical of Zhong and want to see him grow, give him a hard time, but don't be a piece of garbage, basically. um, I think that basically sums up my opinions on that. A few other things I wanted to comment on was that defending bad game design in MapleStory by just saying it's a Korean MMO, lol, it's supposed to be grindy, is fucking retarded. And that I've played many different Korean MMOs, and that many of them have different approaches to what grindy or what repeatable content means, and that MapleStory has almost exclusively been doing it like dog shit for the last couple of years. The changes they made post first month of Fifth Job being released made me never want to go touch that video game ever again. Um, Aside from that, I think they talked about the economy and how it would be different if bots weren't there. That's a fun speculative thing, but the reality is that, like I said earlier, bots and hackers have been such an ingrained part of the community ever since release that we wouldn't even know what the game would be like without it. Um, at least GMS, right? And then the last thing I touched on was the morality of exploiting bugs and events. And I just want to say that everybody should draw their own moral lines there. If you feel like you want to abuse an event because it seems mostly harmless to you, you don't see it negatively affecting the economy. It's just something that'll give you a boost, and that it's something that you're willing to take the hit for. If you do cop a ban for it, then by all means do it. Um, I very much disagree with this high road of morality saying, we should try our best and always be an upstanding member of the community and always report every single thing immediately and not abuse it and make sure that we are playing for our community. I think that all of that is a bunch of dog shit. One day when we are in Star Trek and everyone has their needs met and everybody is happy and being fulfilled, then we can start talking about shit like that. But in current reality and current world where you're just playing a fucking video game, do what makes you have fun. So if being geared makes you have fun and a fucking event comes out that lets you fucking do shit for 50% off, 60% off, fucking hell yeah, dude. More power to you if you want to do that shit. And if you don't want to do that shit, hell yeah, dude. Play the game you want. But fuck you if you try to hold that moral standard on other people. I think that's everything that I wanted to say. Um, if you leave retarded comments in my section, I'm going to make fun of you. I hope that a lot of you can see where I'm coming from with my points and my point of view. And I hope that at the end of all of this, it stops being my guy versus not my guy anymore and starts being, this is something that happened in the community. We can grow past it. He's going to serve his time. And I hope that at the end, he gets accepted back when he learns his lesson and he does his time. And yeah, I hope nothing but positive things come post all of this going down for everybody involved. I also want to give a shout out to Zhong for the moral character, funny enough, that it takes to openly admit to your fan base that what you did was wrong and that you're accepting the punishment. I think that it's very, very easy to make excuses for yourself. It's very, very easy to hide things from the people that have trust in you. And I think that it takes a really big person to admit that stuff. And so, even though you're a fucking retard and you fucked up, I love you, and I hope nothing but good things for you in the future.